Hey everybody, welcome back to Bookish Daddy. Today we are going to be doing anticipated releases for the year. I am pre-filming this, so a couple of these may have already come out or are coming out extremely soon. And that being said, I also tried to pick ones that I haven't seen. So these are going to be very obscure titles. I'm hoping that you haven't heard of, something that you can go out and get that you could be excited about that not everyone else is talking about, maybe a couple indie authors and some less known books. Also, if you're enjoying this content, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. It'll really help the algorithms. And I've been having a lot of trouble with some of these videos being seen. I don't know if it's getting hidden in the YouTube mix or whatever, but if you could click the like button, it'll help a lot push it to the front of the algorithms. Okay, so we can get into this. The first book I'm going to go over is A Dance of Lies, and this is by Brittany Arena. I'll throw up the date that these are released and a picture of the book over here so that you know when they're coming out, and this is in no particular order. But this book is about a dancer turned spy. So it says it's a paranormal romance, but from what I gather, it looks more like a romantasy. I didn't see much paranormal in the synopsis, but this is about a young lady who is one of the best dancers, if not the best, in a king's court, and he needs a scapegoat for a murder and ends up framing her. After she does her time in the dungeon a couple years, she comes out and he basically tells her, look, I need a spy and you can get into a bunch of the royal balls with your dancing status. If you become a spy for me, I'll grant you your freedom after a couple of years. And that is what this is about. I thought it sounds super fun. It's got your court politics and romantasy, and I'm pretty sure it's one of their debut novels. The next book is A Curse of Shadows and Ice by C.A. Mara. This book is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it seems like this cursed kingdom's king finds a young lady who has a bunch of like dormant powers in her that are strong enough to free his people if she can get them under control. So he makes a deal with her that if she'll help him free his people and break the curse, he'll help her learn to handle her magic and not be so destructive. That one sounds super good. I'm always down for a Beauty and the Beast retelling. The next book is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Durst. This is a cozy fantasy standalone book. It is about a young lady who she's not supposed to be using magic. She ends up casting a spell to bring one of her spider plants to life, and whoever's in charge of like keeping magic under control finds out about this and punishes her by turning her into a plant. This should be the end of the story, but a grumpy gardener finds her, turns her back into a human, and has her help him in his magical greenhouses. So it's kind of a dream come true for her. Not only is she not a plant anymore, but she's in magical greenhouses with a grumpy gardener who is watching over all the plants and keeping them safe. The next book is Never the Roses by Jennifer Lambert. This is about a powerful sorceress who finds a book that an even more powerful sorcerer owns. It is in his library. She sneaks in and steals it. And when she gets home, she realizes that she can communicate to him through it. And they end up building a relationship through this book, communicating through writing letters through the book. Kind of like Harry Potter, where you know what I'm talking about, where they're all writing through the book. It's kind of like that, but with a sorcerer and a sorceress. He's supposed to be evil. She is kind of, it seems like she's kind of just neutral, kind of just cares about herself and learning more about magic. Uh, but they end up building a relationship through this book, which I'm excited about. Anything that has to do with like writing letters or texting back and forth. So I think this is going to be a super cool, very unique book. The next book is not so obscure. It is Brigands and Breadknives by Travis Baldree. This is the third book in the Legends and Lattes series. My wife is super pumped about this one. All I know is this is about a fellow named Fern. I haven't read these books yet, but I know my wife is very excited, so I had to bring it up for all of you waiting for it. The next book is What Wakes the Bells by Ella Tesh. This is a super unique sounding book. So this is about a young girl who guards a bell in a church. She's been guarding it her whole life, and that's all she really knows is just to not let anyone near it. And one day when she's on lunch break, she hears it chime, and she runs up there and the bell's ringing, and around her, all of the gargoyles start coming to life and demons start coming out of this portal that's opened, and it releases an all-out war. This is a gothic fantasy. It seems like it might even be grimdark. I know it's gothic. And that's all I know about this one. It seemed kind of creepy. It's supposed to be about gargoyles, demons, and it looks like not medieval, but like old church era. Anyways, that's what this book is about. The next book is Death on the Caldera by Emily Paxman. This is supposed to be a murder mystery for fans of V.E. Schwab. This is about a bunch of, well, first off, there's a young prince whose dad has just died, so he's becoming king. He gets on a train that's supposed to take him to the castle he's going to be taken over. And on the way there, there's a bunch of witches on the train. And one of them accidentally unleashes a curse that like causes the train to go off the tracks. This also causes all the witches to go onto a rampage. And this is about this prince trying to survive on this train, and a young witch who doesn't quite know what to do is also on this train trying to figure out, what all's happening, what curse was unleashed, who did it, and who's safe and who isn't. I don't know. It sounded awesome. Witches, magic, and like a murder mystery on a train just sounded pretty awesome. So that's why I put it on the list. This next book is also not very obscure. This is Hannah Nicole Meyer's new book. It'll be Accomplice to the Villain. And I am super pumped. I have not read the second book yet, which is After Apprentice to the Villain. I think it's... No. Assistant to the Villains first, and then Apprentice to the Villain. Either way, I haven't read the second one. The first one was phenomenal. Probably my favorite read of the year so far, but I want to wait till it gets closer to release of the third book. This is a dark comedy romantasy. I wouldn't call it a romantasy. A dark comedy fantasy with a subplot of romance. But yeah, I'm very excited about these books. This next book is called Tusk Love. It is by Thea Guanzin. She is the author that wrote Hurricane Wars. This is a very unique book on this list. So my wife is an avid listener to Critical Role, which is a Dungeons and D&D story. It's like their campaign told as a story. Within the campaign, there is a book one of the characters is reading called Tusk Love. It is about a human girl who is kidnapped by a band of orcs, and it is supposed to be filthy. So all of you smut lovers and anyone that likes just dirty filth, apparently that is what this book is. That is the running joke in the campaign, is every time she's reading this book, it's like, she said it's going to be at least 4 chili peppers on that scale. And I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be funny, that just because it's so unique that they're taking this from something my wife's been listening to our whole marriage, like 10 years. This campaigns have been running. So I think it's super cool that a big name author of something like Hurricane Wars is writing this. Cannot wait to read this. This next book is A Forgery of Fate, and it is by one of my new favorite authors, Elizabeth Lim. This is a Asian retelling of Beauty and the Beast. Like I said earlier, I'm a huge fan of Beauty and the Beast. This one seems like you take Beast, turn him into a dragon, and that is what this book is about. It's supposed to be a YA romantasy, I believe. And I cannot wait to read it. Her writing is phenomenal. The Six Crimson Cranes has become one of my favorite series, so I really can't wait to read this book. This next book is called Green Teeth by Maury O'Neill. This is a cozy fantasy, but it's supposed to be super unique, and the author went out of their way to say that the audio book was going to be like unlike anything you had ever heard and very unique. This is a POV of a lake-dwelling monster, and she's swimming around down there, and one day a witch falls in, and instead of eating her, she wants to see what'll happen if she saves her. And this witch and monster team up, and whatever problems this witch is running from, this lake monster decides she wants to help her. And it is about them teaming up and their journey through this realm, and a point of view from a monster's life and what it would be like if they made a good decision. And I don't know, it sounded super cute, very unique. And that was kind of the selling point in the synopsis, was that it's supposed to be like unlike anything you've ever heard. The next book is The Amber Owl, and it is by Juliette Menier. This is a historical fantasy. It sounds so cool. So this is about a hermit who lives off on his own, and he only likes animals. He has a very strange and weird dog, and him and this dog live by themselves and just hang out with animals. One day, the king finds a treasure in the realm that he wants, but no matter how hard he tries to push through this forest, he can't get past all the like demonic animals and all the crazy beasts. So he forces this hermit to help him. Along the way, the hermit has to they're trying to get him to harm animals and go places they're not supposed to, and he doesn't want to, but they have his dog and they're threatening him, and it's kind of his inner turmoil trying to get them to this treasure because he's the only one that can do it, and doing things that he doesn't want to do. Like, he doesn't want to harm all these animals, and he doesn't want to let them through this wilderness, but he kind of has to. I don't know, it sounded super cool. This next book is The Scorpion and the Night Blossom by Amelie Zhao. I think it's Amelie. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This is a YA dark romantasy. This sounds super unique too. So this is about a young girl, and her world becomes invaded by demons, and the demons start a tournament where you have to win all these trials to get a wish. They kidnap her mom, and she is forced to go through this deadly trial and try and save her. That's really all I know about this one. It just sounded really cool that it's YA and dark fantasy. This next book is The Dragon Wakes with Thunder, and this is by KX Song. This book is a fairy tale. This is also book 2 in a series. I just wanted to mention it because it's a Mulan retelling about this young girl's dad is kind of an opiate addicted person. He's very abusive, and he finds out he can sell his daughter for a lot of money. She decides that's not going to happen, and much like Mulan, she shaves her head, she joins the military, and pretends to be a boy. But this is what would have happened if she chose not to save the man. So she ends up going down a darker path from what I've read on it. Either way, it's a Mulan retelling. Mulan is one of my favorite all-time Disney cartoons. I really want to read this, and I've heard that this author is phenomenal. So I would be excited to read one of her books for the first time. This next book is House of the Beast by Michelle Wong. This is a dark gothic romantasy. This sounds very interesting. So this book is about a young girl who was born out of wedlock. So she's growing up a peasant, and then finds out that her real dad is a king, and she was born of one of his many concubines and didn't want anyone to know about her. She gets mad and knows what deity this king prays to, so goes to the deity and makes a blood oath to it to get revenge on him. So the deity that this king worships, she makes an oath for it to give her power so she can go overthrow his kingdom and ruin his life like hers was ruined from birth. I don't know, it sounded really hardcore. I don't read many books like that, but it sounded really, really good, and I know a lot of you like gothic books, so I thought it would be nice to add to the list. Those are all the books that I have for you. A lot of these, I tried hard to find some that you haven't seen before, hopefully, that you could be excited about. Maybe help some of these indie authors or books that are getting outshined by the hype books. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like the video and comment below which of these books you're most excited about. And I hope you all have a great week.